Good morning and welcome to the Plano Chamber's Plano ISD Board of Trustees Candidate Forum. I'm Leanne Libby, General Manager of Community Impact Newspaper and a Plano Chamber Board member. I'm looking forward to moderating this morning's conversation, and we appreciate you joining us as we learn more from our candidates for the Plano Independent School District Board of Directors. Before we move to our panel, here are a few words from our Candidate Forum series sponsor, AT&T.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's very important event. I'm Ty Bledsoe, the Assistant Vice President of External and Legislative Affairs at AT&T and Leanne's fellow board member. AT&T is proud. We are honored to partner with the Plano Chamber of Commerce and support today's Candidate Forum series. We value not only the importance of education, but understand that Plano is special. It's unique, not only in the DFW community, but across North Texas and across the nation. And what makes Plano so special is excellent schools where everyone's children have the opportunity to improve their quality of life and pay it forward for the next couple generations of future Texans. With that being said, we support the Plano Chamber, we support the Plano community, and we support having an excellent education system for all of our children and future children. Without further ado, enjoy today's program, and I want to thank all of our candidates today. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ty, and thank you, AT&T, for your continued support of the Plano Chamber and our advocacy efforts. I'd like to also thank and welcome all of our elected officials in attendance today. Your commitment to our great city is appreciated. So now, while our candidates for part one join me on screen, I will review this morning's format. Unfortunately, Shafiq Ben Gesmia from place one and Ajik Waga Fali from place two were unable to join us this morning. The candidates are separated in order based on the place they're running for. So in part one, we'll hear from candidates from place one and place two. And then in part two, questions will be asked to candidates for place three and place six. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to give an opening statement. And then each candidate will have 1 minute to answer each question and an additional 1 minute for a closing remark. Each candidate will be asked the same question and the timer will begin at the start of each response. Are we ready? Okay. So for place one, we'll start with our opening statements. Lauren Tyra, candidate for place one, you have 2 minutes. Please begin.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the Plano Chamber for hosting this virtual event. I wish we could all be together this year, but unfortunately, we're doing it virtually, so thank you again. I'm Dr. Lauren Tyra. I'm running for place one. Place one is an open seat. Tammy Richards, after more than a decade of service to the Board of Trustees, has decided to retire, and that really prompted me to run this year. I'm a proud Plano alumna. I went K through 12 in Plano public schools, and then I went to North Texas for an undergrad in biology and German. I went to UT Southwestern here in Dallas for a PhD in neuroscience, and now I have a professional career. And in that professional career, what I do is I work for an investment firm, and our investment firm invests in startups. We invest in healthcare and life science startups and technology startups. And so I see in my work every day hundreds of companies throughout the year that are advancing wonderful technologies, that are hiring talent from our communities and other communities. And I see the type of employment that our students are going to have when they are finished with Plano ISD and when they are finished with college and when they are finished with the rest of their education career. So whether it's workforce readiness, college readiness, life readiness, I see those skills that all of our employers in our community are going to need, particularly high-tech jobs in the 21st century workforce. So I'm very excited to talk to y'all today about that in the Plano Chamber, and I really look forward to your questions. And thank you again for spending your very early morning with us and learning about the things that we can contribute to Plano ISD.
Thank you so much. So next, Samita Voiku, 2 minutes.
Thank you for having me this early morning. My name is Samita Voiku, and I am running for PISD Place 1. I've lived in Plano for 22 years. We moved here to start a family. I have 5 children. 2 of them are in college. One is studying finance and one wants to be a flight nurse. I've got 3 currently in PISD at Haggard, Clark, and Plano Senior. Public education has been the most important pathway to success for me. I'm an immigrant from Romania. There you get placed in educational tracks and that's it for the rest of your life. You don't get a chance to change your mind. So if you're not good at math in 4th grade, that's pretty much it for you. You're on a different standard. My parents wanted a better future for us, filled with the opportunities, so we came here. But it was very hard. We were very poor. There were many obstacles, but it was okay. It was worth it because I had great teachers to help me and to motivate me to make sure I pushed through the system. So I understand what it's like to be an ESL student. I understand having parents not know the language or how the system of school works here, but my teachers and the counselors really did help me. And we have students in our schools now that are going through the exact same thing I went through. So I think it helps to know that I've been there, I understand. I ended up graduating with honors from high school. I got a scholarship in German for college. I went on to get a master's of business administration. And now I get to live in Plano. I raise my family. I have a small business, all because of education. It's a great equalizer. And I believe that education is what we need to focus on and build the skills for our students. Like achieving the reading goals and the math goals in elementary schools will allow our children to take those STEM classes. If they're behind in math or don't have a fundamental skills, they will struggle. And we need to focus on the early childhood education for our students. And we also need to focus on providing pathways for our older children, the vocational students. My dad, I'm the only one that graduated and went to college. My siblings are all in the trades, and that's okay. They're doing great, but we need to make sure we have 2 pathways for both of them. I'm focusing on
Thank you
academic
so much.
excellence. Sorry.
You've got your 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Sorry
I
to keep
speak
us
fast too.
going. Okay, so thank you so much. We'll move on to place 2, and we'll do our opening statements, starting with incumbent Angela Powell.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me this morning. I am running again for my 2nd term as trustee, place 2, because I'm committed to the safety and success of our students. You know, I've been a Plano resident since 2005. I graduated from the University of Dallas with an MBA. I've been an instructor for 7 years. So I have been a PJ mom at Isaacs, Hickey Elementary School, Murphy Middle School, Williams High School. I'm currently the board liaison to the Council of PTAs. When I ran the first time, I was motivated by my passion to advocate for our special needs population. The wraparound services that we're working on right now on the school board is what I've been advocating for the last 3 years. You know, mental health and school funding are priorities to me. You know, I help with the origination of our Plano Up program to support our students with more wraparound services. You know, I care about the welfare of our students and want to make sure that they have the tools to succeed. You know, school funding has been a big concern to the district, and modifications to the state's recapture system needs to be addressed further. I'm committed to continuing my efforts to advocate for our students and parents. So please vote for me again. And the thing is that, you know, I have spent many years, you know, working at volunteering in the community. And some of the leadership roles that I have tried to serve you was through the board liaison for the PISD Education Foundation. I've been the board liaison for the Junior League of Collin County. I've been the board liaison for Tech Titans. I've been the board liaison for the North Texas Commission. I've been the board liaison for a realtors group. I've been the board liaison for the city of Murphy. I've been the board liaison for the city of Parker. I've been the board liaison for the Plano Homeowners Association. I've been board liaison for the Plano ISD Council of PTAs. And I've been board liaison for the Plano ISD Head Start. I care about our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angela. And just make sure everyone on the panel can see the timer. If you can't, please let Christine know. Okay, so we'll move on. Dana Osherowitz.
Good morning, and thank you to the Plano Chamber for holding this forum and to all the members who are present for listening. I'm Dr. Dana Osherowitz, and I've lived in Plano ISD for 19 years. I'm a professor and I'm the assistant provost at SMU, where I oversee the core courses required of every college student. So I understand firsthand what it means to get students college ready. I have 30 years in education, in teaching and administration, and I've served on the board of trustees of a major university. So I understand the importance of the PISD board, and I'm ready on day one. I'm also a first generation college graduate and entirely the product of public education from kindergarten through graduate school. So because of my personal history, I understand and believe in the power of public education. And I'm passionate about equity, and I believe promoting equity is one of the highest charges of education. And in specific terms, I support fine arts education, which fosters creativity and creative thinking, and second language education, which develops critical reasoning and cross-cultural competence. I also support strong science, mathematics, and technology curriculum. I'm an advocate for increased magnet and academy options at all levels because students learn best when interested. And these types of schools have been shown to give students an interest boost. And I'm running for the Plano ISD board because I would like to ensure that every student in Plano ISD, regardless of income level or background, has every opportunity to succeed. I will also ensure that Plano ISD has an effective strategy not only to address bullying and bias, but to prevent them before they occur, because children can't learn if they don't feel safe. In closing, I would like to say Plano ISD is an excellent school district with opportunities to continue to improve, and I hope to have the privilege of supporting the district as it continues its tradition of excellence. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so now we move on to our questions. Just a reminder, you'll each have 1 minute for each response. Keep your answers brief and please stay on topic so that we can get through a few questions. So question number 1, what are the biggest issues facing Plano ISD and what are your plans to address them? And we'll start with you, Dana.
Yes, well, I think preventing bullying and bias, as I said in my opening statement, and I think that was on my radar before the heavily publicized events of the last month or so, because I was hearing from parents about it across the district. And I know that the district has policies in place to address bullying, but I really think we need a complete understanding of where bullying is occurring, how often it's occurring, who's managing it well, and we need a clear strategy to prevent it, bullying and bias. I think the community is calling out for that, and we need a clear system with an accountability framework and transparent metrics so that everyone knows what steps are being taken and where we are on the pathway to try and prevent and address these problems. This is fundamental because, as I said, children can't learn when they don't feel safe.
Thank you. Angela.
You know, there are many things that I feel that are, important to us on, since I've been on school board. And the thing is that, we currently are doing board listening rounds for bullying. And I am one of those parents who understand what's going on. When my autistic son was punched when he was in 3rd grade, that was very painful for me because the thing was that I didn't find out from him. I found out from another parent, and it was really painful. And I understand the pain that parents are going through because my son is autistic and he's speech delayed. So he couldn't tell me. So, right now we are listening and we understand that parents want, more communications, from the district and from the schools, and we are listening. And yesterday I was on a listening round, and I'm all ears, and I am there with you in heart. And another thing that is a big concern is the loss of learning through the pandemic. So we are finding ways to approach it to help every individual student, what their needs are. So I am continually helping with that. So, and the thing is that also funny. My time
Thank
is
you,
up.
Angela.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we'll move on to place 1, Samita Voiku.
The 2 issues I find that are going to be very important to coming up is mitigating the pandemic learning loss for our students and then retaining our students. So we've enrolled 2,200 students at a cost of $20 million. And those students will not be here next year. So we need to look at ways to retain our students or even look to see why those students left. Because the point of our schools is to keep our students. And the pandemic learning loss needs to be assessed. We don't actually know the full extent of it. And I think we need to find out that full extent. because some of the skills that the kids have lost, we won't know till later on. Like if they didn't understand exponents next year when they're doing the integrals, that's what's going to be a problem. Or the reading skills for the elementary kids. So mitigating the pandemic learning loss and trying to retain our students and along with our teachers are my main priorities. Thank you.
Thank you. Lauren Tyra.
Going last, I have the great pleasure to be able to say I would like to echo what everyone else has said. I think these are all important issues. I think that everything that's been brought up previously is a challenge facing the district. I'm going to do something a little different and say I'd like to talk about finance. You know, Plano had this explosive growth and we're now sort of in a settling out phase, and that impacts our finances, both in terms of student enrollment as well as pre-K kindergarten enrollment. And then when you look at our property tax base, homeowners' property taxes are going up because property values are rising, and we need to be very sensitive to that. We also need to be sensitive to the continued burden of recapture. Almost a quarter of the district's M&O budget goes to the state of Texas for recapture. And so we have a lot of very difficult choices ahead in terms of the budget, and having professionals that understand the budget is going to be very important for the board going forward.
Thank you. Okay, so now on to the second question. What does Plano ISD do well, and what does the district need to improve on? And we'll go back to you, Lauren.
All right. I think that the district does really well in a lot of academic standards. Our graduation rate is significantly higher than the state average. Our college readiness rates are very high. When you look at the data that how our students perform in their first year of a four-year university program, the vast majority of them have a GPA of 3.0 or higher. So I think we're doing really well preparing a lot of our students for college and expanding the great curriculum at the high school level. There's a couple things that I'd like to touch on. One is STEM and technical education in elementary and middle schools, expanding programs in the elementary and middle levels like we've expanded in the high school levels to ensure that they're well prepared for those high school courses. And the second is equity. Great academic programs that Plano has long been known for are only as good as every child is able to take full advantage of those programs. So ensuring that every single child in the district is able to benefit is really going to be important going forward.
Thank you. And also from place one, Samita Voiku.
What we're doing well with, I really like the teachers. We have really great teachers, and I get, I mean, I've got 3 kids in school, so I get a lot of emails, and I do believe they're working really hard. They're having to deal with 2 different groups of students to make sure everybody's on target or just to help them. So I really think we do really well on hiring really good teachers that want to teach and that are here for the students. One of the issues that I would focus on is communication from the district to the parents. So parents should be equal partners in our students' education. And I think the district needs to listen to us. We need that seat at the table. And that is my main issue with what's going on and what's been happening is if you listen to the parents and we're involved in our students, everyone succeeds because our common goal is our students.
Thank you. Okay, so now from place 2, incumbent Angela Powell.
We've been working very hard the last several years of improving everything that we could. And the thing is that, we're improving door credit, we improved career readiness for our students. I mean, the thing is that we hire quality educators, and we hire quality staff members, and we hire quality administrators. And so Plano ISD has strived to succeed in everywhere possible to give our students excellent academic success. And you know what? When we have been really good and very conservative in our budgeting, in our finance, we've been very careful with our spending. We've been very careful how we allocate our resources. So I think that those are our strong strengths. And the weakness, I think, right now is going on is that, there's a gap in communication, and that's why we're doing the listening rounds. We're going around listening to our parents, to our teachers, to our education, to our staff members, to our students right now. We're going around listening, having listening rounds so that we can learn what is our gap with communication. So that is what I feel right now is our weakness. And we're going to fix it. We're going to fix whatever, our parents and our community wants us. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Dana Oshowitz.
Yes, well, Plano does many things well. I have taught Plano graduates, Plano ISD graduates, so I know that they're college ready. I'd like to talk about something we can do better. One thing that we hear at the university level from employers a lot is that they would really like more students with advanced language proficiency and cross-cultural competence. And Plano has an advantage in that it's an incredibly diverse community, and it has many languages, including languages like Farsi and Korean, that the government, Arabic, that the government regards as critical languages. So I would like to see us diversify our language offerings and offer dual language, two-way immersion programs so that the students who have these languages at home can share them with students who are English speakers who want to learn them. Those programs have shown great success and they bring all students up. So it's not that we're not doing well. Plano ISD has very good language programs, but I think that we could better harness the diversity of the community and give ourselves an advantage and give the country something that it's looking for. So that's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on to our last question of the morning. Some of you have addressed this topic already. So question number 3, diversity and equity have been big topics in our community lately. Can you talk about what those subjects mean to you and how you would like to see our school district incorporate these priorities? And Samita Voiku, candidate for place 1, we will begin with you on this question.
Plano is a very diverse school district. We see this in our hallways. I see this with my kids, and I like this diversity. It's so much different than even 15 years ago when it wasn't there. I was the only immigrant in our school, and I looked forward to the foreign exchange students. So I think diversity is involving everybody and making sure that everybody is respected. Equity for me means building blocks, helping students achieve where they can't. And a personal experience is my ESL. So that ESL was an equity builder. It helped me, I moved on, but it was critical for my needs then. So we need to focus on building blocks that help our students reach their goals.
Thank you. Lauren Tyra.
Yeah, thank you. I think these are really important topics on diversity. I think one of the most important things we can do is ensure that we have educators that reflect our student population, that we have a diverse group of educators, that a diverse group of students are learning from, and having that cross-cultural education and those cross-cultural experiences between the students and the educators. And maybe that's recruiting more from historically Black universities. Maybe that's recruiting more from universities in the Valley where we'll get a lot of really good Spanish language and ESL educators. I think that's really important to think about. In terms of equity, it's giving every kid and teacher, both the students and the teachers, the resources that they need to learn and to achieve personal growth. Perfect example, my son goes to Daffron, which is one of the Spanish language campuses. And so they have special classes, they're busing students there, and that's giving those English language learners the tools that they need in a great way in a normal classroom to succeed.
Thank you. From place 2, Dana Oshowitz.
Yes, I'll like to build on what Lauren said. We are diverse in Plano. We have a lot of people with different backgrounds, experiences, different cultural heritages, different languages, different ethnicities. So we're diverse. Equity means making sure that everybody has what they need and an equal opportunity for success. And that's something you work at. And so the key to getting equity, or one of the keys to getting equity, is inclusiveness. And that's where we really need to work. And inclusiveness means being intentional and deliberate about thinking about who is in your community and making sure that everybody has a voice and everybody is included. And that includes different stakeholders at the university: parents, students, staff, educators, other members of the community. And it includes representation from the different types of people that you have in your community. So we're diverse, but we need to keep working toward equity and inclusion.
Thank you. Incumbent Angela Powell.
That's a very good question. And the thing is that Plano ISD is a diverse, have diverse backgrounds. And, 16% of our learners in Plano are English language learners. We do have 19% who are gifted and talented. We have 12% of our student population that are special education. And we have 34% of our student population that are economic disadvantaged. So, I've been on the board, working on diversity, inclusion, and equity. And I was also on the Murphy Middle School. I was the PTA board member for multicultural coordinator. So, diversity means a lot to me because I'm a Vietnamese immigrant. And the thing is that I believe in inclusion because when I came over to America, I didn't speak English. English was not my first language. So this is very important to me. I do believe that all our students are going to get the tools they need because we also hired a diversity director this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for each of your thoughtful responses. Let's wrap up with closing remarks. So please remember that you'll each have 1 minute to respond. Lauren Tyra, candidate for place 1, will begin with you.
Again, thank you for having this forum today and having all of us. Lauren Tyra, running for place 1 here on the PISD Board of Trustees, and I hope to earn your vote. One thing that's really important to me is listening to the community, listening to parents, listening to principals, listening to teachers, listening to our students. And I have shared with you some of my ideas, but I also want to hear your ideas. So I would welcome anyone to reach out to me and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think the district needs to be working on. As a scientist, this is something that we do. We listen to others, we take those ideas, we take that feedback, and we chart a path forward. And so I'm very excited to hit the ground running. As a trustee, I think I have a lot of skills, a lot of talents I can bring to the board that are incredibly unique. So I look forward to hearing from all of you, and I thank you for spending your morning with us here today.
Thank you. Samita Boyku.
I want to thank everybody for having me here this morning. My son is about to go out to take his STAR test this morning. But in a recent article at Local Profile, a past board member stated the 4 key competencies to run for school board. And I have those. The first one is involvement. I have been involved in the PTA for many, many years and multiple PTAs, and sometimes at the same time. I'm on committees. I'm on the Career and Technical Committee for the PISD, and I'm elected commissioner for City of Plano Community Relations Commission, which actually helps with the grant process for our neediest of citizens. Issues was a topic. I've attended the board meetings for the last 2 years, just so I can know the processes and know the protocols, know what's going on behind the scenes. And the last one is support. I have support from parents across party, cultures, and socioeconomic status, because we are all concerned for our students. So I'm committed to the academic excellence, opportunities for our students, transparency, and accountability. And I trust that I am the right choice for your students. I ask for your vote and your support. Thank you.
Thank you. From place 2, incumbent Angela Powell.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm running again for my 2nd term because I'm committed to keeping the safety and success of our students. The pandemic has caused so much disruption to our community. Our administration, our staff, teachers, parents, and students were affected in different ways. But we all came together to work through this COVID-19 crisis. And I would want to continue helping our students, helping our families, and helping all our parents to come together again for another 4 years. I've volunteered in PTA for over a decade. I've volunteered in our community for years. I want to continue volunteering to help what I've done for the last 4 years. So thank you so much, and please vote for me again. Thank you.
Thank you. Dana Oshowitz.
Yes, and thank you for giving me this opportunity, and to everyone for listening again. So I just want to say that students in schools today live in a world where technical education is outdated by the time it's delivered. They're likely to change jobs and be retrained multiple times in their lifetime. That's why it's so important to think hard about who's on the PISD board. To ensure success, our students need someone with clear knowledge of educational best practices, someone whose motivation for serving on the board is solely to ensure that every student in Plano ISD succeeds. I have 30 years in education. I have experience hiring, training, managing faculty. I have experience in curriculum development, assessment, student retention, and faculty retention. I've served on the board of a major university. I have a history of working across constituencies and listening to stakeholders. I believe I'm highly qualified for place 2, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our candidates from place 1 and 2. Thank you for joining us today. And now we're going to move on to the candidates for place number 3 and place number 6. So candidates for place 3, will begin with your opening statements once we get everybody loaded in. And remember, you'll have 2 minutes each. And hopefully everyone can see the timer. If you can't, I think we have a backup plan that we're going to do our best to keep on time. All right. And I think we're all here, correct? Yes. Okay. Marilyn could not join us today, correct? Yes. Okay, so we'll get started. So we'll get started with place 3 with the opening statements. Again, 2 minutes each. We'll start with incumbent Nancy Humphrey.
All right, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I don't see a timer, but I'll begin. Thank you so much to the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this, and thanks for those who are here watching us. I'm running for re-election because I want to continue to serve my community. I will continue to give a voice to the community who has trusted me to serve for 3 previous terms. I believe education is the most important key to an individual's economic prosperity, and I'm committed to work on the board so that PISD continues its tradition of excellence in education. I also serve the stakeholders of the district who, although they may not have a child in the schools, they contribute their share of property taxes to fund the district. Having an excellent school district in Plano is why people come to the area. I bring 11 years of service in all officer positions on the board, and I'm a retired CPA with extensive knowledge about Texas school finance and the district's budget and financials. I chaired the audit committee for 10 years. I currently chair the legislative subcommittee and have advocated for Plano ISD and our community in Austin for 6 legislative sessions. I co-authored Taxparency Texas to ensure our community understands the impact it has on our local taxpayers, Robin Hood, I mean. I've made many valuable connections throughout the community and in Texas, as well as with state and federal legislators, chambers of commerce, you guys, nonprofits, and other school districts. I've earned the community's trust through my extensive work in the community, through Rotary, multiple PTAs and booster clubs, Hendrick Scholarship Foundation, the Leadership Plano, Boy Scouts, Heritage Farmstead Museum. I've won many awards. Thank you, Chamber of Commerce, for the recent Athena Award. My vast experience is valuable because I will provide stability of leadership to the board. I have the time to devote to the position, and I have a proven track record of doing so. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Lynn Walling.
Hi, thank you everyone for joining today. Thank you, Plano Chamber of Commerce, for having me. My name is Lynn Walling and I'm running for Plano Board of Trustees Place 3. I attended 1st through 12th grade in Plano schools. I may not have decades of experience behind me like some others do, but it's not the number of years that matter, it's the quality and the growth that takes place during those years. From the experience I do have, I have a diverse range of civic and professional experience. From banking, event coordinating, I taught elementary school as a junior achievement volunteer. I've served on a nonprofit board that helped North Texas foster children with education resources and much more. But my background experience has taught me the importance of communication and relationship building. I will admit, I received a phenomenal education from Plano schools. However, the largest room in the world is room for improvement. In the 2018-2019 school year, Plano ISD dropped from a letter A grade in academic achievement to a letter B. So I plan to bring a fresh new voice to the board, return Plano schools to their grade A status. Also, make sure learning is interactive and students are involved, and always put students first. I want to increase transparency, increase accountability, and also be very fiscally responsible. I want the community to know that their voices matter and I am listening. I represent the citizens of Plano and I work for them. So that's why you should vote for me, Lynn Walling, for Plano Board of Trustees, place 3.
Thank you, Lynn. So for place 6, Marilyn LeRae was not able to join us. We will hear from incumbent Jerry Chambers.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you to AT&T and Ty. Thank you for the Plano Chamber, and thank you, Leanne, for being our moderator today. I'm Jerry Chambers. I am running for re-election for place 6 in the Plano ISD Board of Trustees. I currently serve as the vice president. I think it's really important to say that PISD has had an accountability rating most recently as an A. And I have every intention of not only continuing that high level of standard, but to also continue to grow, because every organization has opportunity for growth. I think it's important for you to know that my relationship with the Plano Chamber has been long, and we'll just go with long. I've been a member of Leadership Plano Class 20, and from there, and I was appointed to do that position through my work with the Junior League of Collin County. I currently serve as the board liaison to the Plano Chamber. I also am very active on the Chamber Public Policy Committee, and I am very, very honored to have been recognized this year in November as a Plano Chamber's Citizen of the Year. I think that speaks highly to, I'm honored, certainly very humbled by it, but it speaks to my work, dedication, experience, and true passion for our community. It is really, really important for people to understand that our community is strong because we have a strong relationship with our city, with our chamber, and the school district. And that trifecta is what makes us a great community. It is important that that relationships continue to be strengthened for the greater good of all of our community. Experience matters. I was selected on this board as an appointed position, and I was selected because the current trustees thought that I would be ready to hit the ground running from day one as a former teacher and someone who's been an activist in community since 1994. Those experiences caused me to give a great perspective. I also want to highlight that I have been a middle school teacher in the district, and I'll speak about that more later in our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Okay, so we'll move on now to the first question. Just a reminder, you'll each have 1 minute for your response, and please keep your answers brief and stay on topic. Okay, so it's question number 1. What are the biggest issues facing Plano ISD, and what are your plans to address them? And we'll start with you, Jerry.
I figured that. Well, there certainly are many issues that we're dealing in the district these days. The pandemic has certainly caused a great upheaval, if you will, but it's also created great opportunity for education to reevaluate itself and look at what we can be doing to make things better. Learning loss is real, it's been substantiated, and we need to be looking at what we're going to be doing as a district to correct that, put in the measures that we need to, and identify those students who need to have extra enrichment to their education. The other piece of that is social emotional wellness. Students, I mean, all of us have faced challenging emotional times because of the last year for many reasons. And it's important that the district recreate and reaffirm that every child is important. Every child deserves to be secure, safe, and have a sense of belonging. And we have work to do to make sure that that happens for all our students.
Thank you. Next, we'll move to you, Lynn.
Okay, 2 of the issues that I think are really important this year, Jerry already pretty much touched on one, but just making sure students are back to where they should be education-wise, especially for those students that are about to go off to college. I believe that if we can offer free summer school classes or tutoring sessions, anything to help them out, because getting into some universities is no joke. You know, they do have really strong requirements. And another issue I believe is increasing transparency and communication, not just between faculty and staff, but with the community. You know, when your board members are reached out to from parents, to actually make sure that they're communicated back with in a timely manner, and that any concerns that are brought up are addressed immediately. Because I feel like having that clear communication and just that increased level of transparency will help build a foundation of trust, and which will have the Plano School District have more support from the community as a whole, which I think is super important.
Thank you, Lynn. Nancy.
Okay, well, I think there's a few things. I mean, it's repetitive, but it's important. We've experienced some learning loss due to COVID, so I think we need to offer extended summer learning beyond just credit recovery. I know what we're doing in the secondary levels right now. We are offering learning labs so that students are able to recover as they're still in school. But I think we could consider looking at Saturday school in the regular semester coming up when we come back full time in the fall, or additional days in the summer of school that for those that want it. I think we also need to look at declining enrollment, and we're actively pursuing kindergarten and pre-K out in the community, doing a lot of work partnering with Commit. And one thing that I think is so important, we have to advocate for the federal stimulus dollars that are earmarked for education, because we can't do any of this without those funds. So ESSER 2 and 3 need to come to the districts directly and not let TEA spend that.
Thank you. All right, now on to the second question. What does Plano ISD do well, and what does the district need to improve on? Incumbent Nancy Humphrey, candidate for place 3, we'll begin with you.
All righty. Well, there's so many things that Plano ISD does well, and that's why people move to this community. I mean, we have an average graduation rate of 96%. We have choices in education. We have academies like the IB program, Health Science Academy, STEM, which is our, STEAM Academy, which is our Plano Academy High School. We have a career tech campus up in Collin College. We provide excellent professional development for our teachers. We provide benefits for teachers that will keep them here and attract them to stay. I think we want to continue to work on reducing the achievement gap. We use data to identify those needs where we need to help those that are performing at a lower rate, but maintain the growth of students at every level. Again, I mentioned the declining enrollment. We need to focus on that. And I think because I think COVID has really made this apparent, we need to help to expand mental health services to students and staff who've experienced trauma during this pandemic.
Thank you. Lynn Walling.
I think something that Plano school districts do really well is prepare their students for college, especially when it comes to having AP courses, dual enrollment courses, things like that. Things where you can already have credits going into university, which is crucial, especially if you're double majoring like I did. Something I believe that the school district can improve upon is making sure that parents and educators are full partners in the education of their children, as well as making sure that in the classroom, a basic appreciation for our state and national heritage is taught, as well as respect and independent thinking.
Thank you. Incumbent Jerry Chambers.
And will you repeat the question?
Yes, the question is, what does Plano ISD do well, and what does the district need to improve on?
Alrighty, everyone said really great answers. One of the things that is not being talked about, and it is part of the district strategic plan that I'm very excited about, is making sure that all students are engaged in an extracurricular activity. My kids were involved in sports. They were involved in band. I mean, I'm a big band supporter. We have one of the most amazing fine arts, visual arts programs ever. And I think it's important for our kids to find that love and passion. My kids were involved in student government. They're involved in PALs. There are so many great extracurricular activities that kids can get involved in. It will provide them a sense of belonging. It will provide them to feel connected with your community. And I think that's what all of us are craving and what our kids are craving. And so expanding that is something important. The other thing I think it's really important to mention is we kill it at science fair. we kill it. We are one of the best districts in the state for what our students perform in STEM.
Thank you. Okay, Jerry, we're going to go to you for the next question. Heads up. So question number 3 and the final question of the morning. Diversity and equity have been big topics in our community lately. Can you talk about what those subjects mean to you and how would you like to see our school district incorporate these priorities?
Very important question, and one that I am hearing in the community, lots of different perspectives and lots of concerns. So it's important for us to understand exactly what that means and what diversity and inclusion and equity mean. We do have a very diverse school district. People move to this district because it's diverse. And I think it's important that we have opportunities for kids to be able to tell their stories, because people to be able to tell their stories helps people to understand. We don't like something or we resist something. I wonder if often it's becoming of an unknown and fear, and we need to face that. We have had some criticism about how we're doing diversity. And to that end, I think that the board of directors, I heard in our meeting on Tuesday, a call for the board of directors to take the diversity training ourselves. And I think that would be a very important step for us to understand exactly what's happening in the classroom. We can be informed and we can also influence that training as it moves forward.
Thank you. Lynn.
So I've actually been traveling internationally since I've been 2 years old. So I have a very set world perspective, and I really respect all cultures. I think diversity is always really important, but the 2 words that are more important to me than all the above is character and respect. I think as humans, we need to see what's inside rather than on the outside. People's character matters the most, and we should treat everyone the way we want to be treated. It's the golden rule. I think that's what we should really focus on, is just look at someone's merit and their character and respect everyone, have tolerance for everyone, even if you don't agree with them. And I think that is what will make Plano successful.
Thank you. Nancy.
All right. Well, diversity is the presence of differences. Equity is promoting fairness and justice for all. And inclusion is acceptance of all people, regardless of any diversity that is perceived. DEI means that every person is valued and accepted for who they are and not judged by differences. We need to ensure that students are taught empathy for each other and that they try to understand the other person's story. I believe the district has to embrace a sense of belonging for all kids and provide a secure environment that facilitates positive learning process. Kids can't learn if they don't feel safe, and that's just plain and simple. There needs to be a continuous process to expand that culture of inclusiveness, to teach values and embrace that sense of belonging for all, because people and teachers, students move in and out of the district, whether they graduate or go to work somewhere else. And it's important for the board to be able to be aware of this, because we set the tone at the top, and we have to be intentional about allocating resources to campuses based on equity.
Thank you. Thank you so much to each of you for your thoughtful responses. Let's wrap up with closing remarks. And please remember that you'll each have 1 minute for your closing remarks. Incumbent Nancy Humphrey, candidate for place 3. Let's begin with you.
Okay, sorry, my phone was ringing. All right, I'm ready. I believe every child can learn. And I want to see that every child at every grade level maximizes their potential, and that students are at the heart of every decision we make. Our kids will be working in jobs that aren't even created yet. So we have to prepare them to be life ready. And that's the lens through which I look. And I'm running again to continue my service in the community. I bring stability of leadership to the board for serving for 11 years. I have full time to devote to this position, and I have a proven track record of doing so. I'm the Energizer Bunny. I'm everywhere in the community representing the district. My tagline is listening to you. In 2010, I advocated for non-agenda items to permit people to address the board on any item. And I actively advocate for all students, teachers, and public ed over the last 6 years in Austin. Finally, I have the knowledge and expertise to do this job, and I want to share that knowledge with our community. Please vote for me, place 3.
Thank you, Nancy. Lynn Walling, place 3.
Yes, so America's most important resource is its students. I bring a fresh voice, fresh perspective, and optimistic, open-minded attitude to the table while staying true to my values, making sure parents and educators are in full communication for the education of their children, making sure students are first, being fiscally responsible, increasing transparency and accountability. I'm willing to actively listen to the community, and it shows. I've had multiple people, residents of Plano and Plano moms ask me what they can do to help me. So that means a lot to me to show that they trust me. I don't have kids or decades behind me, but I am passionate, ambitious, and I care deeply about Plano school districts. The best way to give students a bright future, the bright future they deserve, is to take care of the present moment. I will not rest until I make a positive impact. Voting for me, Lynn Walling, for Plano Board of Trustees, place 3, is an investment that will pay you the best interest. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. And place 6, incumbent Jerry Chambers.
Thanks, Leanne. So much to say here and so little time. Experience matters. It really, really matters. This is a hard role. This is a steep learning curve, and it's important for people who get it and want to do the work are still able to do the work. Listening matters. That's something we all are learning about and we all hope to do better at. And I'm working very hard to make sure I do that. If you're someone in the community who says that you disagree with me, you're the one I want to hear from the most. When I was a middle school teacher, I had a student come back to me who I had previously and said, Ms. Chambers, you're my favorite teacher. Of course, every teacher likes to hear that. And so I said, I taught middle school math. What did you learn in my class? And she got this very blank look on her face. And she said, I don't remember. I just remember how much fun we had. And if you could have a 7th grade middle school student come back and talk about they had fun in math, you've done your job. And that's what our job is about, is to making kids feel belonged, that learning is fun and learning is something that they treasure. A strong and thriving community is made from strong and thriving schools. Thank you all very much. I appreciate your vote. Jerry Chambers.
Thank you. Thank you to all the PISD candidates who joined us this morning. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules. I would like to say thank you to everyone in the virtual audience as well this morning. And again, thank you to AT&T for being the Candidate Forum series sponsor. Be sure to join us for our other upcoming candidate forums and ballot related events. Tuesday, April 13th at 8 a.m. we'll be doing the Plano City Council Candidate Forum. Friday, April 16th at 10:30 a.m., the City of Plano Mayoral Candidate Forum. And Monday, April 19th at 8 a.m., Coffee with the City to learn about the 2021 bond referendum. As a reminder, early voting starts Monday, April 19th, and will go through Tuesday, April 27th. And Election Day is Saturday, May 1st. Have a wonderful day. We are adjourned.